The truth is, there is a very important principle in terms of Avodas Hashem. Particularly that which is based on the principle of Chod Chechad Eilu. Mentioned many times, when the Rebbe created Odom Harishon, Odom, he said to improve who Milos Oretz V'Chipshuah. Milos Oretz V'Chipshuah is a simple human pursuit, right? Fill the earth and capture it. And you are doing Avodas Hashem by simply doing, don't shake the table, by simply doing just that. By as we call it always, humanizing the world is also part of Avodas Hashem. For example, you're talking about eating. You can eat the Shem Shomayim and have a kavanah that you're eating so that you're very healthy, so you can do mitzvahs and so forth. Then there's another aspect in eating. You eat in a respectable manner, in a dignified manner. What is that? You eat in a dignified manner, you are actually manifesting that there is Kvod Hashem in the world all the time. Right? And whose honor are you eating dignified? Are you honoring yourself, or are you honoring the Meibush? An interesting halacha. Are you all interested in this question? Mm-hmm. An interesting halacha. You know, you're supposed to honor the elders, the scholars, your teachers, whatever you're supposed to honor. The thing is that honoring the elders is applicable only in an honorable situation. In other words, like in a bathhouse, it's not a place to honor anybody.
It doesn't say that in order to go with the in order to go with the teacher to the bathhouse, right?
Not something else. Not going to teacher because that reduces your respect for him. But in general, in a bathhouse, what would be honoring, let's say, under normal circumstances? You serve somebody, you serve your teacher breakfast. You go in the bathhouse and you pass him a towel. It's not suitable. He can take the towel himself, unless he needs help. Because he's not engaged. It's not a place of honor. It's not a place what it means is the following. When you mechabed a person, mechabed an elderly person, the Gemara says, for example, you have to mechabed even a goy, an elderly goy, mechabed. Why? Because Kama Harpat Kois over the he had so much experience in life. He had seen so much in the world. And therefore you show respect for that. What are you honoring? This person, or you're honoring the experiences that he had? What I'm saying?
Mm.
What are you honoring the experiences that he had? Because these experiences are all manifesting what's going on in Hashem's world. And he has been much more exposed to Hashem's world than a younger person. And you honor it. He knows what's going on. You understand? In other words, in honoring an elderly, it is the fact that he had more exposure, more experience in Hashem, in the world in which Hashem participated, Hashem created. The same is true in everything that you do. We have to eat, and they always speak of that the human being has to eat with dignity. What is this about? Who is he honoring? Himself? What's the point? Where does the dignity come in? The dignity is this. The human being is a Meivisha's creation in his image. Meivisha has given him wisdom. Has given him a sense of meaning in life. Therefore, whenever he stands, he represents this godly element. And if he dishonors himself, it's not himself that he's dishonoring. He is dishonoring the one who gave him this quality. The person forfeits his intelligence. He is forfeiting the godly gift.
What does forfeit his intelligence mean?
If he acts not intelligent, that's without respect for the human quality. He crawls on the floor, he eats with his in an inappropriate manner, not in a decent manner. That's dishonoring his intelligence. Do we understand that? Mm-hmm. What are we honoring? Me? We're honoring the one who had created this entity, this wondrous creature, and giving him such phenomenal qualities. And he disregarded it, says, I'd rather live like an animal. He is dishonoring his creator. We all can readily understand this on a simple human level. Like the Gemara says, Nezem Zoho B'Av Chazir. You have a Nezem Zoho, a gold noseband. We don't have nosebands, but a noseband used to be an ornament or earring. You put a gold earring on the swine's ears. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're insulting the richness and beauty that Hashem has put into the world. You're insulting the creator of this. Hashem created gold, and Gemara says, gold is really a super worldly quality. Hashem created in the world for the sake of the Beis Hamikdash and holy things. But it's in the world. Once it's in the world, you're allowed to use it. But you have to use it with respect, understand what you're using. Anybody senses that if you have a piece of gold a gold earring, a gold noseband, a gold um, ring, and you see it in the dirt, you feel bad, right? You feel another iron piece of a ring in dirt, it's made it's an iron, but gold, you feel very bad about it. What is this? Nothing has any value. You understand? No, gold has no value, but it is valuable. Not because it's valuable, you can make money from it. It's valuable in the world. It's a godly gift to the world. It's one of the testimonials that this world is a godly creation. Because it has this richness and this beauty, right? So this is the principle that where the very simple human participation in the world itself has an influence called Kavod Shamayim. Has an inner Avodas Hashem. The Rambam says that a Chacham, and Rambam is a tzaddik, or a Brumarid, a Chacham is somebody who lives according to the principles, the human principles, Torah principles. You can tell a Chacham at every stage of his activity, of his life, how he walks and how he talks and how he eats, and all the things that the Rambam enumerates. That the Chacham in such a there's a I think it's in Ishaya, if I'm not mistaken, or Ishaya is actually reprimanding the Jewish people, and he says he's talking about these girls, these women who walk with an outstretched neck, and walk, walking beside Gudel, the hill to the very small steps, calling attention to them. Oh, they're walking honorably, with honor, not just running. They're walking, one step at a time, and a foot next to your foot. And he says, no, that's a chutzpah. That's a chutzpah. It's not honor. But they're honoring because they're honoring themselves. They're honoring themselves. They're calling attention to their beauty and all that. That is very, very upset about. But to walk at a normal pace that represents, so to speak, the human beauty that Hashem created in the world, that is honoring Hashem. As a matter of fact, this discussion is actually in line with the Sikha, with the principle of the Sikha that we were going to discuss, kind of base our discussion today. Then it brings on the Sikha that the Tzedek was a young boy. And you know that Tzedek was an orphan, right? And the Alter Rebbe took him in, the Alter Rebbe raised him, both Gashmis and Ruchnis, and the Alter Rebbe instructed his teacher, his Melamed, that he should start learning with him Chumash Vayikra. This is very common minhag Dat komt van mij. So it's Chassidus afterwards asked the Alter Rebbe, how come the Aleph in Vayikra is a small Aleph? The Alter Rebbe answered him, the Rebbe said to him, that Odom Horishain is written with a big Aleph. That's in Divrei Hayomim. Tanakh, Odom Shei Senes, Odom is with a big Aleph. Odom Horishain knew his Mila. He knew that he is a unique individual, a very great person. And he appreciated his greatness. And because he appreciated his greatness, ultimately that brought him to a downfall. It enabled his, making the mistake with Chesed and Das. Moshe Rabbeinu, he wrote Vayikra with a small Aleph. Vayikra with a small Aleph is as if the Aleph is not there. It's in Vayikor. Rashi explains, by the way, that in the Nevi'im, there is no calling. Vayikor here happens to accustom, to stumble upon it. You learned the Rashi, right? Vayikor. So Moshe wanted to write Vayikor, but Hashem said Vayikra. So he put a small Aleph. Moshe didn't want to make the emphasis that he was being called. It's too much recognition. So he wrote Vayikor with a small Aleph. So he minimized his status. Moshe knew his Mila, and other Mauritians knew his Mila. But they had a different approach to this. Moshe knew his Mila, but, as the Alter Rebbe explains in this story, that Moshe did not take it personal that he's a Baal Mila. Because Cheshbon of the Alter Rebbe in Tanya even says that Moshe with a Cheshbon, that number one, all his great talents and all his qualities, this is something Hashem gave him to begin with. On top of that, he was the son of Amram. He was very well placed to grow up a great person. With all the assistants, he had a good Rebbe, so to speak, right? And all the assistants and all that. So, big deal. So he can't take credit for it. It's not his work. And Moshe Rabbeinu even said to himself that if someone else were given the same chances, with the same qualities, natural qualities that he was given, someone else would have exceeded him. And that's why he had that small Aleph. He says, well, Yishmeish no honor Mayoid. There's very big no honor. He says, on the Kol himself in Adam. So there is a whole discussion in the Sikha why the Alter Rebbe had to bring down Odom Horishain and so forth. Odom. The bottom line in the Sikha is that what the Alter Rebbe is trying to, was impressing upon the Tzemach Tzedek, that a person must recognize both sides of himself. Must recognize his miles, the miles, both the natural quality that he was given and the circumstantial qualities that were given, like the opportunities that he was given, and all the schuyas that he was given. He must recognize all that and utilize it. At the same time, he has to have the beetle. And no, it's not his own doing. It's something that was given to him. And therefore, this is like the godly quality within him. And he can't take credit for it. He must remain the same honor even after he recognizes it. But he must recognize it. Because he doesn't recognize it, this is like we said before, a piece of gold in the dirt. You underestimate, you dishonor the godly gift that was given to you. Understand, King? I recall there was an Indian man, he's not here anymore. Somebody lived in Gan Eden. He was gifted with a very good head, an enormous memory. So I remember, maybe I knew quite well. He was, not
in
much.
Shiur?
Huh?
Was in Shiur? He was here in the yeshiva?
No. In German, no. She's going back. She's going back. He's not my age. He was in a different category. He's much older. Anyway, but I spoke to him, and he was a smart man. He says, I was the best speller.
That's what?
Speller. And he says, I know the price of every item, how much I paid for it, how much I'm charging for it, everything's lying. Capacity for it. So this is a godly gift. Unfortunately, where did it go into the grocery shops and into spelling bees? And he would truly appreciate it and says, hey, look what you got. Look what you got. So this is, you are a special person with special gifts. Come on, do something special with it. You did something special. You made a big grocery. So, and I said, this is passe, but it's just anything that we can learn from for a beneficial teaching, even though it's kind of embarrassing to him, but you don't know. But it is chusoi, that from him you learn something. It is important that a person value the qualities that the Rebbe gave. Because it's Hashem's gift. And you must respect it, you must value it. It's exactly in line with what we discussed before. The Rebbe expresses himself in this sikha that Modem Orisha and Moshe Rabbeinu, both of these have left an imprint in all human beings, all Yidden for sure. There is an Odom Orisha in each one of us, and there's a Moshe Rabbeinu in each one of us. A spark, a nitzes from Odom Orisha, starting from Odom Orisha. They're all descendants of Odom Orisha. This is Odom Orisha is what's called the Tzir Kappa Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He was built by Hashem's by hand. His body and everything was made directly, exactly the every part of it was built specifically by Hashem. Tzir Kappa Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then the neshama of Odom Orisha is the highest neshama ever. That neshama included all other neshamas. All neshamas are derivatives of the neshama of Odom Orisha. So, the Alter Rebbe was saying to Tzemach Tzedek, you should know you have that type of quality. Odom Rishon. Which means every one of us has that quality, which cannot be surpassed. And it is extremely important to recognize it and to value it and to respect it. At the same time, to recognize, like Moshe Rabbeinu dealt, so to speak, with his greatness, to understand that this is something which is not to your credit. It is something which was Hashem's gift, and therefore it does not in any which way take away the anibus, like asking a being is to get cognizance and recognize who made and the world for not what it is, but that's what it is. And that's called Avodas Hashem. So from the perspective of Avodas Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu made a cheshbon. It's very much conceivable that somebody else would have exceeded him. Therefore, there's no point of holding himself superior. Even though, in fact, he was superior. He was superior because of the gift. That's his cheshbon. So this is the Sikha, and the message in this Sikha is extremely clear. As a matter of fact, the whole Sikha is a message, an avodative message. But okay, without any buts, I think that we should discuss it specifically for ourselves. Remember yesterday, we were discussing we had quite a Nivat class as well. And I said, did you ever dream that you would understand this kind of things? What's the point? The point is that we have to understand, we have to know what kind of qualities we each possess. The intelligence, the wisdom that the Rebbe has imparted to each individual Yid is unfathomable. In other words, it cannot be measured. And like you asked me yesterday, we are used to thinking, what do I do with it? It's not what I do with it. What makes sense to me, and how come it makes sense to me? How come I understand this? Is this something that's being proven to me? That I'm showing? No, I understand it with my own seichel, with my own neshama. And the reason I understand it with my own seichel is due to the fact that my neshama knows it to begin with. This is what I am. And because this is what I am, when I learn it, I can recognize it, I can relate to it. Otherwise, I would not be able to learn it. I make the point all the time. A child, a small child. I myself experience this in my own home. My children are growing up. They're sitting in a high chair. They're still, toddlers. And you feed them with a spoon. And they want to eat by themselves. Of course, they want to eat by themselves, like every kid wants to do. But they cannot. So I remember, my daughter she couldn't pick up the food with her spoon. What would she do? She wouldn't eat with her fingers. You can eat with your fingers. She would take the food, put it in the spoon, and then feed herself. It's an interesting observation. What was behind that gesture? Please understand. We do not believe that our children get trained to eat with a spoon. Like I mentioned to you before, right? We don't train our children. If they see that they eat with the spoon, it makes sense. Of course. It's not it's clean, and you feed one piece at a time, not to let you take a whole bunch at a time. You follow what I'm saying? And it makes sense to them. Why does it make sense? It said you weren't trained, you didn't even go to school, you weren't never told. You were never told when you feed the spoon, you should know. I feed the spoon, but you're supposed to use the spoon. It never happened. What is this a reflection of? Our intelligence is a reflection of our neshama. I've mentioned many times, this is something we must understand as much as we can. The human being and the animal is lahavdil. Lahavdil means two different worlds. Despite the fact that the animal is alive, the human being is alive. The animal is living. And what he relates to, what he understands, is that which the neshama can understand, not what his body can understand. If he is going to eat with the spoon, it's because it makes sense to the neshama, not to the body. What's the dignity element in the human being? He's neshama, he's intelligence. Don't put your head into the food because your head has intelligence. You have to respect it. That's why you have to bring the food after the hand. Because the head is This very Seichel is a koyach hanefesh. You know in the Seichel there are 10 koyches, right? Koyches does not mean that I can do things because I was trained to do them. Koyches means I have this koyach because this koyach is a direct reflection of who I am. What can I show my? He's straight on the ground. It's a curse. That's a completely different story. But all the animals stand on fours. That's normal. Why do you stand on fours? Because if you are dependent on the ground to give you support, that's the only way to stand on the ground, to bounce yourself against the ground on 4 legs, like the table. If you stand on 2, up erect, you're not balancing yourself against the ground. You understand what I'm saying? You might not and you